Before we begin, I would like to thank the Twitter user Ilo for the 3 pieces of fan art that you are currently seeing. If you have any fan art you want me to showcase and add to my normal still rotation, all you have to do is send it to me either through Twitter or through the Discord server I have linked in the description of this video. Furthermore, I would like to thank Blaze the Movie Fan for finding the video I'm about to cover. If you have any videos you want me to cover, you can request them through the same methods I just mentioned, or through simply commenting it on any of my videos. Tonight's commentary is on a man named The Official Tatum. Now, most of the video that I'm covering was him rambling about a podcaster named Stephen A. Smith, as well as discussing his support for Ron DeSantis' recent move to suspend AP African American history classes in high schools because apparently there's queer theory in them, a claim which I have very good reason to doubt given, Ron DeSantis made it. However, given I have not read these textbooks, I cannot actually determine if that claim is true or not. The point is, most of the video is incredibly uninteresting, minus his declaration that he thanks God for white people.
And thank God for white people. Because if it was for black people like that, we all be dead and still on a slave ship somewhere.
And so for all this awesome, neat, wonderful stuff, you don't thank the Lord, you thank the whites.
Thank the whites, thank the whites, you don't thank the Lord, you thank the whites.
Put together with the fact that he decided to go on this long rant because Stephen A. Smith called Ron DeSantis a political opportunist. I'm not kidding. Here is everything he plays from Stephen A. Smith in this video.
This ain't about African American studies. This is about securing a base. Ron DeSantis is playing chess. When the hell are we going to join the party? And by we, I mean folks who are paying attention, not falling for the okie doke, not sitting up there acting like, oh my God, this is about something it isn't. Ron DeSantis don't give a damn about African American studies. He gives a damn about winning the presidency. And he's trying to pull off doing just that.
Which is just so light criticism-wise that it's honestly amazing Tatum even felt it necessary to go on this long fanboy-esque rant about his favorite governor because of it. Even ignoring just how shitty of a thing that is to say in general, it's just thrown out there without any reasoning or explanation. Because how dare Stephen A. Smith insult your new Lord and Savior, Ron DeSantis? However, neither of those were why I decided to cover this video. Instead, it was the last 3 minutes.
Because why wouldn't Stephen A. Smith come out with vigor and zeal to say, I don't want it, y'all need to stop trying to combine LGBTQ with black civil rights.
Why wouldn't he say that? Let me think. Maybe because that's not what he believes? Is that possible?
These are two different things. You don't get to jump on the bandwagon of the struggle of black people and throw the LGBT on top of that like being gay was a thing where you couldn't drink out of the same water fountain with a straight person.
That's a really specific example, but okay. Also, what about during the AIDS epidemic, where homosexuals were treated as essentially walking AIDS dispensers?
Man, you ain't being gay. Look, people be doing stuff in their home their whole life. There's people right here that got a wife and they gay. They're out there sleeping with men. Nobody know what you're doing in your house. You do your own thing. Being black, you can't control it. If they don't like you because you black, your pigmentation cannot be controlled. You didn't have a choice to come out the closet as black. Hey, everybody, I just want you to know I'm black. No, you came out the womb with certain pigmentation. And there was a struggle that ensued.
So, quick question, how is it not oppression to have to lie to everybody about who you are and constantly keep it a deep, dark secret for your entire life? Because that's essentially what you're arguing. I'll grant you that the oppression homosexuals have faced is very different from the oppression African Americans have faced, but both have still faced oppression throughout United States history. I don't get where you're going with this.
There was laws against being black in the Jim Crow South.
And there are also laws against being gay. They were called sodomy laws, and they weren't repealed by the Supreme Court until Lawrence v. Texas in 2003.
So don't jump on the bandwagon and act like we've been struggling together this whole time. No, that's not true. And your struggle is a choice. In my opinion, your struggle is a choice. You have a choice if you lay up with a man or not.
Yeah, you can either choose to be discriminated against by society at large, or you can choose to be repressed for your entire life.
It doesn't matter what you like. It doesn't matter what look good to you. You choose to lay up with something that look good to you. You don't have to.
Okay, that point was equally as stupid as your last one, so I'm just going to address something that's been bothering me this entire video. What's with all the dead air? Every time you finish a sentence, you pause for a second or two, which, to be fair, is not that big of a deal. But with how much you do it throughout this 10-minute video, it honestly becomes distracting after a while and just makes it look like you have no sense of fluidity. Which begs the question of, then why are you doing this live, freeform content in the first place?
They're like men. If you're a married man, yeah, you may see a woman that's way finer than your wife. That don't mean you gotta sleep with her. That don't mean you gotta go down that path.
That's a terrible comparison. When it comes to marriage, you make an agreement with the other person to remain monogamous to them for the rest of your life, I guess, unless you have an open marriage. Or in some form polyamorous. However, even then, that's supposed to be talked about with your partner beforehand. When did a homosexual make an agreement with society at large that they'd be heterosexual? In utero? I also want to point out that I find it quite telling that while talking about homosexuality, he doesn't discuss, having a romantically and emotionally fulfilling relationship with somebody of the same sex, but instead only talks about sex and sexual attraction. It's just another way that he has absolutely no idea how homosexuality works, despite deciding to talk about it as if he has any understanding whatsoever.
Maybe you ain't married and you a man and you in college. I was in college. I know what it is. And you a whole bunch of women and everybody having a good time. That don't mean you have to participate in it. It really don't.
Are you under the impression that homosexual virgins don't experience homophobia? Because that's incredibly fucking stupid. You specifically mentioned coming out as gay earlier in the video. If you do that with a homophobic family, they're not going to ask how many sexual partners you've had.
The thoughts in your mind, I would argue that you would have to confine the thoughts in your mind and think of things that are of God, think of things that are holy. But if you have a temptation to do something or you have an attraction to somebody, that don't mean you have to abide by it. That don't mean you have to pursue it. People got all kind of weird attractions. You need to keep that to yourself and pray about it. So that's a choice. Your pigmentation, you don't get to think yourself out of your skin color. And I don't want to hear nobody tell me, well, it ain't a choice. Well, yeah, make sense to me. Why there are some people that believe it's a choice, some people don't believe it's a choice?
Oh, it's actually really simple. The people who think it's a choice are totally wrong.
So what are the people that choose to do it? What are they doing then?
Okay, I know this joke is obvious, but it's incredibly weird to me to watch somebody talk about how homosexuality is a choice while wearing a shirt of a muscular Donald Trump. Do you have some choices you want to make there, Tatum?
Think about this. If you're a person and you like men, and you're a man and you like other men, well, there's people that exist in this country, in the world, that didn't like men and begin to like men.
Really? Are you going to give us any examples?
And then they don't, and then there's ones that like men, but then they don't like men. They go back to being straight.
Again, can you give us some names, please, so I can look into these claims at all?
There's people that got all kind of stuff that's going on. You can't tell me all these people are born this way. I don't believe that they were. I think that is some people may have they may be predisposed to becoming emasculate, effeminate men.
You do know that homosexuality doesn't inherently make you effeminate, right? Also, apparently it's a choice that you have a predisposition to making. Do you think people choose what they're predisposed to?
They may be predisposed to it, right? So therefore, the conditions are correct, they'll end up falling down that path. But but at the end of the day, it's nature, it's nurtured, not nature.
Okay, first off, even if that was true, people don't choose how they're nurtured. You do understand that, right? People don't choose who their parents are or what country they're born in. That's purely just random chance. However, I should also note that this objectively isn't the case. If it was, why would homosexuality even exist in societies where it's heavily discriminated against, or even punishable with jail time or possibly death? And this brings me to the ultimate question I always have for people like this who claim that homosexuality is a choice. If it really is, then why would a kid with homophobic parents choose it? Why would somebody who lives in a homophobic society choose it? The answer is obvious. They didn't. You're an idiot. Good night and good luck.